The ability to observe oneself is so important for our conscious evolution as individuals and as a collective. Hi, I'm Molly Knight Forde, founder of the Awareness School. I want to have a brief discussion with you about self-observation and how it is a misunderstood concept. If we already think that we can observe ourselves, we're missing out on how to work towards our own transformation. And it's often our thinking, watching our thinking, and labeling, and analyzing. And so when we do that, we have this impression that we know how to observe ourselves. And this is the pitfall, it is the danger of us believing that we know what's going on within us. And until we begin to question and really start to experiment with new ways, and in fact very ancient ways, of bringing about presence and integration that will enable us to observe ourselves in a completely new way. But if we don't, from the get-go, question whether we can see that or whether we are seeing that, then we miss out, and we will continue to think that we are observing ourselves by labeling and analyzing our thinking. So last week I talked about the three brains, and if you would like to know a little bit more information, watch my video on the three brains. Once that kind of work gets going with seeing which brain is in action, there comes a point in our transformation in which we move to another level, and it is the observer. And the observer is able to take in newer, more broad impressions of ourselves that are life-changing. And that is why we work towards presence, because presence requires something more of us. It's much more than thought. And so, by very intentional means, and I teach that a lot in my courses, in my one-on-ones, in my local group, it is the way of attaining presence so that the observer may begin to see more. Now, many people who have experienced something like this have an idea that it is universal mind or something coming through us that's able to see this. But in fact, it is us in the very beginning being able to observe something within ourselves that we could not see before. But with that ability to observe comes the ability to accumulate consciousness. And with that accumulation, we have the possibility of breaking into a much more permanent freedom. So there is a rhyme or reason to it. And we must be very careful and constantly question if we are actually observing ourselves or if it is our thinking labeling our thinking. When we observe ourselves, it takes effort, it takes intention, and there are very specific methods that become the cornerstone of work on oneself. Have a great week.